Hi, Lydia, if you're there. Hi there, Carrie.
Hi, Christine.
Hi there, Lydia. How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm using my phone, which I've never done before,
Okay.
but
So we just see your background, not your video.
okay.
You may have to enable the camera or Zoom access to your camera on your phone. I wonder if maybe I should send out a quick broadcast since we don't have anybody else yet. It's...
Carrie's here.
Hi, Carrie. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you both?
We're doing good. Just looking for some other members. Lydia's using her phone, so she's just getting that figured out.
Okay, no problem. I'm just kind of wrapping some stuff up. So I'm going to be on mute. But as soon as you guys are
Okay.
ready to start, I can unmute or join in via video.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Hi there, Chris.
Hello.
Hi there. It's Christine. I'm just sending the link out again because I guess I should have put it directly in the mail, in the email rather than having to go into the agenda. So somebody was having problems. So
All right.
we'll see if we get some other participants. If not, it's the three of us and Carrie.
Who's
And
the-
Lydia's using her phone for the first time, so she's working on
Ah.
getting the camera set up. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm
Good.
cleaning my cottage because my daughter's arriving tomorrow
Oh, wonderful.
for a month. So we're very excited. So
Lovely.
she'll stay in our cottage to start and then
Uh-huh.
come to our house afterwards.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So have you had renters or did you have your son?
We had our son, but he was actually at our house because he and his girlfriend had been tested.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, we've had renters all summer. We've just allowed time in between each, like 24 to 48 hours between each
Right.
rent.
Uh-huh. That sounds great. Yeah. Our daughter's on her third week here. She vacationed first with her husband, then he went home and she stayed 2 more weeks working remotely and
Nice.
bemoaning every day. It's not fair. I want to go to the beach. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's nice that you've had plenty of time with your kids.
Yeah, we're very excited to have our daughter here. It's just,
Yeah. And where she is, doesn't she live in Mexico or?
yeah, Mexico
Ah.
City. Yeah, she's actually more concerned about getting back into Mexico after being in
Oh.
this country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Let me see. Oh, there's Jaya. Let me admit her. You there, Jaya?
Looks like she's muted. Oh,
And I hope we get Lydia back too.
Hello.
Hi, Jaya. There
Oh.
you are. How you doing?
Hi. Oh, electronic world.
I know.
The other world's got its issues too, but now we have this one.
Right. For sure. Let me just admit Lydia. How you doing there, Lydia? Is it things working? You're muted and no video at the moment.
Hi, I think I'm gonna just stay off camera for a second because I'm trying to figure something else out.
Not a problem. So I think we should probably get going. I think I can just do the minutes, just writing on the agenda and taking notes, unless someone else wants to do so. So should we get started?
Yeah, that sounds good.
And I have to hop off really at 12 sharp.
Okay.
I do too, so yeah.
Alrighty.
It
We'll
will-
make it quick.
Uh,
So we have Jaya, Chris, Lydia, and we have Carrie also, who's just muted, waiting for us to get started. Does anybody have any announcements? Anything they want to bring up that's not on the agenda? If not, we all know that our pre-town meeting is on Wednesday the 9th, and I'm just working on slides, and I just have 3 so far. I think they only want like a small number. I can't remember now, but it's just 5 or less, I think. So I did want some advice on, whether we want to get into environmental stuff or if everybody knows that now and that kind of thing. And then the town meeting on the 12th outside. The first agenda item was transfer station. We don't have Mike, but the only thing I had of note is the last hazardous waste day is on October 3rd, 9 to noon in P-Town. So Outer Cape Town residents can make it. I've been trying to make it for 2 years. I'll try again this time. And Carrie, do you want to jump in here? We also, the second item is aquaculture. I don't know if we'll have somebody dialing in, but we heard from Tom that you've been talking about a grant.
Yeah, so I sent it to DEP about a micro grant, which is up to about $5,000. The way that I presented it to Aaron, sort of describing who Tom was an individual. But the micro grant is for, organizations or nonprofits, etc. So Tom and I actually have a phone call tomorrow, I believe. I keep thinking it's Tuesday because we're here on Wednesday.
I know.
But I have a phone call with him tomorrow, and we're going to discuss how we can sort of make it either prompted by some sort of nonprofit or organization. Maybe it could be with I think it's the Sail Fishing Association or something that he told me about. So we can kind of spearhead it through there. But that was really the only challenge. And when I was asking Aaron about the grant, I tend to forget that they're very literal with your emails. So because I didn't say an organization, I just kind of spoke about Tom in our conversation. She took it literally to mean Tom wanted the grant. So I have to go back and sort of find out more of where this might be prompted from. Right. So we are going to have that conversation tomorrow. But it is looking good. But again, to my fault with the email, I had just sort of mentioned Tom, and would this look like a particular thing that would fall into this grant? And, for the most part, sure. But then she said, well, individuals don't qualify. And I thought to myself, I should have worded it a little bit differently. But Tom was the individual I was speaking with about it. So,
great. And the
so
grant,
that's looking positive.
Yeah. And the grant, just to reiterate for everyone, what is it for?
So it's called a micro grant. It's not under the SMRP, and it's up to $5,000. And we're looking at switching out the ties that they use for each of the oyster bags, which are those plastic little zip ties, to replace them with bungee cords. And they would pilot that program for about a year. And within a year, I guess they turn over the bags about 4 times. So that would be enough time to sort of decide if the bungee cords are holding up throughout the year in the place of the zip ties.
Wonderful.
That sounds good.
So that's something that we're looking into right now.
Excellent. Lydia, have you heard anything from the interns or Tom more specifically on their progress?
He wasn't able to come to this meeting today, but I hope he'll be at the next one. And
Okay.
he did just reiterate that he spoke with Carrie and that they're working on things.
Okay.
And,
Alrighty.
yeah.
And are the interns continuing into the fall?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll find out.
Okay, that'd be great if you could see what we got for our money, so to speak.
Well, I'm sure we're getting, quite a bit because they have
Yeah.
experience and they're out there doing the work.
Right. Anything else on, transfer station. I was just on the Friends of the Library, and they do have a Discovery Books bin, and Discovery Books is actually a for-profit, but they are responsible for making sure that everything that isn't sellable or reusable is is either donated or pulped if it's not salvageable. And there is a bin over by the, you know, on the other side, on the non-driveway side of the swap shop. It's by the book shed. So we just talked at our meeting about publicizing that. So Denny O'Connell is going to take a picture, and I'll send that to you, Chris, and maybe we can get it onto the website as well for the transfer station.
Okay, and what was that called?
It's called Discover. Is it Discover or Discovery Books? I think it's Discover Books. And we have been donating books that we do not deem sellable for our book sales to them. And they just have a big box and they just come and, you know, pick it up. There's one
They
outside.
only take paperback, correct?
They take anything.
Oh, they take hardcover?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep. And they have a website if you want any more information on it. If there's nothing more on transfer station or aquaculture, our town meeting, of course, is consideration of our single-use commercial plastic bottle water ban. And I just want to put up a slide that summarizes where all the Outer Cape towns are. So let me just share that screen. So I started working on, so are you seeing the PowerPoint?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this was just a summary of what has been done in the last few years in terms of plastic reduction, just to frame it. And this is the actual article, non-carbonated, unflavored, less than a gallon, with an exemption. And then this is the status of the Outer Cape towns. You know, so there's concern about, from the Water Board and others, about not being the only town to approve it on the Outer Cape, and then the businesses being, you know, left out to dry. So the status right now is Orleans, they postponed it until spring. Eastham is voting on the 26th. Truro didn't have the municipal ban on their warrant last year, so they're voting out this on the municipal ban this year, and Provincetown is voting on the 21st. So we're not sure how to present this, but this bottom bullet, option to coordinate implementation on the Outer Cape, is basically the idea that the Eastham Select Board recommended the ban with the caveat that they would rescind it in the spring if they were the only town that approved it. What we'd like to do is, rather than rescind, or what I think we should do rather than rescind, is just to move out the effective date for a year, allowing towns to catch up if necessary. So we're communicating with Dan Silverman, the moderator, about how to do that, because it's not really part of the article. It's just sort of informational to make people feel more comfortable about the prospect of being the only one. And so that's all I have in the way of slides so far. And, you know, there's stuff the other things would be, you know, listing alternatives and environmental impact. So I kind of run out of energy on doing just about everything, but I've got a house full of kids and various issues running, you know, stirring around. And so if anybody has any ideas to throw in here, please send them my way and I'll stick them in. The Sustainable Practices I asked them for a flyer, and what they sent is like 2 pages of, you know, facts and answers to questions. So I have that. I'll send that out to everybody so you can see it and give some ideas. I just don't want to get bogged down in tons of, you know, facts and statistics about how bad plastic is, because I think that's kind of, people have heard that a lot.
Christine.
Can you include me in that email when you send that out?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Christine, did you see the Independent? I think it was this past week. One of the letters to the editor was about the ban. And if you'd like, I can take a picture of it and send it to you, because it you know, brings up some questions that people have about it.
Yeah, so that was a little, so I was thinking I really wanted to respond to her because number one, she was making it sound like tap water, that bottled water was safer in some way than
Right.
tap water, which is not. So that's a good point. We should put in a fact about, I think it's 50% of bottle sales is just tap water, not even filtered. I mean, it's,
Right.
and there's no regulation of it like there is for municipal water sources. So we should definitely, so it's not safer.
Right. And I was thinking for Wellfleet, we could also mention about the water filling stations because she brings up,
Yeah.
water for visitors.
Right. Refill stations, and then also so I thought I'd put that up under alternatives, to mention that we have the refill stations. And then there's also the, let me just unshare for a sec so that I can, so we have, I have samples of, this is the open water, sparkling water, and still water. And then there's one other brand of blue cans. Do you think that's worth either taking pictures of or showing during the, maybe we can just take pictures of, because more pictures are better.
Yeah.
Rather than, I hate to just throw a bunch of words up there in the slides. And also if we do a flyer, Lydia and I were talking about a flyer. Lydia, do you want to talk about that? You were suggesting like half of an 8.5 by 11 to hand out at town meeting.
Yeah. We have a lot of leftover paper from past projects, and I thought we could do a long kind of half a page folded vertically rather than horizontally. Does that make sense? And possibly in color and with some pictures, double-sided. And not a whole lot of them, because I think at most town meetings we have between 200 and 300 people maximum. So most people, well, many people arrive with a friend or a spouse or whatever, so we could maybe print something like 50 pages or to pass out.
And then cut those in half and to get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have a printer I can do those on in color.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
think that's a good idea. And in color, to put it on colored paper, single it out. So I think that's a very good idea. If we have the colored paper, that's
We
good.
do. We have a lot of it.
Yeah.
you mean the unbleached paper that we use, that we bought for? Yeah, we've still got several reams of that. I do. It doesn't, the colors don't look as brilliant, but definitely a good idea to use that.
Yeah.
So, so the question is, what do we put on that? Who's willing to work on it? You had mentioned, Lydia, that I was supposed to send you some stuff so you can start putting things. I guess we can get back to that plan.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm going to send out the flyers from, I'll send all the stuff out that I've gotten from Sustainable Practices. There's a flyer, there's a PowerPoint that has a lot of information in it.
Sounds good.
And all ideas are welcome. So you mentioned, Chris, we talk about the refill stations. Maybe we have some pictures of the canned water. Is there anything other than, there isn't any bottled single use under a gallon water, is there? Like glass bottles?
They're sparkling, but not still.
That's
That I've seen anyway. I've seen a lot of also paper cartons of water,
yeah.
but those aren't ideal. But
Vioxx,
at least it's
whatever
not.
it's called.
What'd you say, Carrie?
What about that Vios or Vioxx or whatever? That's in a glass bottle.
Is it still water?
I believe so, yeah.
How
Let me
far,
see if I can Google an image of it real quick.
Okay, that'd be great.
how
Some people
far,
have asked for like smaller. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
just want to know how far away these are being shipped, the spotted water.
Well, some of it's coming from overseas, I mean, like Fiji
Yeah.
water and Perrier, it's true. We should all be using our own water.
Yeah, it's a dilemma, isn't it? It's a real dilemma. It's a,
But
yeah,
what it's packaged in matters too. What it's packaged in is important.
yeah, it's true. It's
So
true.
it's called Voss, VOSS, and it's still water, and it comes in a glass container, and I believe it's a metal cap.
Okay.
Right.
VOSS.
Fully recyclable.
And reusable. I mean, that's a really nice
Right.
container.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
And then obviously we can put samples of branded, I mean, I guess that's the main thing that we'll offer to businesses is, they can sell empty branded and then offer the opportunity to fill it there or direct people to a refill station.
Christine, I'm going to email you an image of this, and if you want to share it real quick,
Okay.
let me just email.
Some people have been asking too for like mini size bottles of water. They like the kind of half, I guess it's 6 ounces rather than 12 or.
You mean for a reusable?
No, well, yeah, like a friend was saying that she likes to buy the little tiny
Oh,
plastic
right.
bottles, and she'd
Yeah.
like, I mean, if there was an alternative, she might consider it.
I just wonder why people aren't bothering to have their own, period. Their own container that they refill. Number one, it's, not only environmentally safe, but it's ecologically sound. Mm.
I'm sorry, I was just admitting
No, go ahead.
Jane, so I didn't hear you. Jane, we've got you in. Sorry, I didn't see that you were waiting to be admitted. Your microphone is off. I'm sorry, Jaya. You were wondering why people...
Why it's so onerous for them to have their own bottle to refill when it's not only environmentally wise, it's economically sound.
Yes.
I guess we all wonder. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to put up this picture that Carrie just sent. Can you see that?
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, I have seen
Okay.
it. Makes a nice flower vase.
It does.
Yeah.
It does look highly
Put their own
reusable.
fruit and stuff in there, so you can like steep tea or do like a fruit, but it is still water, and it's called Voss. And
Right.
I know they're not cheap. I think they're probably anywhere from $2.50 to probably $3 something for a single, but I mean, it's glass with the metal cap, so they're highly reusable.
Yeah.
But again, you can't use those on the beaches. No glass on the beach.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You can have glass on the beach.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
We may have to change that.
We can take some pictures. Like I have a set of metal ones, and there's one which is like 6 or 8 ounces that I just stick in my purse, so we can get some images of small ones too, all sizes of refill. Okay, so as far as the tap water not being safe, so we'll put in some things about the tap water is better, refill stations, alternatives for businesses. There's also the TAP app, which Sustainable Practices is pushing, but it has nothing in it yet really for the Cape. And I've set up so that I can add locations. And what we can do is like add I can try adding the big field thing, which now has a bag over it because they're not open. So, I don't know, it's kind of a hard atmosphere to. The other thing is the status of the refill stations. We can just say that we have 1 and 2 are in progress, waiting for the town to allow public access to the water bottle refill stations, which they haven't. The state has, but the town hasn't. And I've sent email to Hillary, but she's that was in the middle of the testing of restaurant workers thing, so she had other things on her mind.
Mm.
And okay, so anything else on town meeting? So anybody that wants to dial in on the pre-town meeting, I'll just quickly slow the slides, show the slides. If there are any questions, it'd be great to have other people there who might answer them.
Can I just make one more push that I tell everybody that's considering these bans, both municipally and commercially, is just to make sure that the alternatives are recyclable, because if you think about box water is better and other Tetra Pak type water containers, those are not recyclable, and you don't want to add to the waste stream by having non-divertible items. I mean,
Right.
you can if the vendors choose, but I would write that into the language.
Okay.
Just because I don't like to see recyclable
Yeah,
materials
keep bringing.
be replaced with non-recyclable materials.
And do you think we should specifically mention that the box water is not recyclable in Massachusetts? Is it all in Massachusetts?
I would say any type of packaging that's packaged like box water is better. I mean, you don't want to call them out specifically, because if you do go on to their website, they do claim that it's, I think, 60 to 75% recyclable. And they're not talking about the recyclability of the container. They're just talking in the United States. So it's nice to point out that in our state, these particular types of packaging is not. And so you just be adding to a waste stream with a non-divertible material.
Okay.
But remind too that the percentage of plastic water bottles that actually get recycled is very, very low,
Right.
probably well under 15%.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them end up, not even going in the trash, but just going in the landscape.
Yeah. So
One of the most commonly things that you find on the roadside.
So do you think we should stick with that kind of thing, is just the water bottle impact on our local environment?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Alrighty, that's easy.
Do you have, Lydia, specific statistics around plastic bottles here on the Cape? Because I know globally, I mean, they really talk about 9% of plastics that are recycled, and that has to do with just the recyclability of the plastics that are being produced in our markets. Because plastic water bottles here on the Cape are recycled at a higher rate than they would elsewhere. Do we have those numbers, or do you have any new numbers that I might not have?
Well, in that documentary that was on, I think it was Nova, they talked about in America what the percentage is. And I think it was under 15%.
Right, but what about Cape Cod? Do we know?
Well, I don't know, no, but maybe we could get those numbers, yeah.
I would just be fascinated with it, just because, I mean, we're such good recyclers. I mean, we can all be better, but I remember the front line with Nova and the story of plastics or whatever it was called. But we tend to be a little bit better than America in general, but I don't have the specifics on this particular, material stream with the PETs and single use.
I'm surprised that the DP doesn't have that, because you're in touch with the MRFs, the people that process all those plastic bottles. Like,
I know,
I wonder how many tons of it they collect and where they ship it.
Sold.
I know, I'd be curious. Maybe I could do a reach to the commercial department and find out if they do have that information.
So the kind of numbers that I see in the sustainable practices, they have this life cycle of a plastic bottle. They say around 20% of PET plastic that is recycled is made into new products, and that the majority end up in the landfill or in the environment. So we can just say the majority rather than any specific number. And that 9% carry is kind of, a little misleading, because that's from the time that recycling started. Mm-hmm. So it's like, the whole history of recycling.
Yeah, it is. I think that's the issue that I hold with a lot of these particular statistics, is they can be skewed in so many different ways.
Right.
Not to say that any of them are necessarily wrong. It just, some of them are biased to say what you want them to say, and that's the beauty of statistics.
Yeah.
However, yeah, you're right. And so I hear that 9% an awful lot, and I've heard that, from Monavie, which is, it's not a wrong number.
Right.
But I do echo what Lydia was saying with the Nova and the story of plastics and the 15% America. I guess I just haven't heard any recent numbers for that particular material stream here on Cape Cod. And I know folks here like local information as much as possible, but I know we do better, but I couldn't tell you how much better. That's one of the things that I don't think I have that I would be comfortable
I wonder
saying.
if APCC has anything, but who knows?
Yeah, I can certainly try to reach out to the commercial side and see if they know, because they might get MRF numbers.
The markets are pretty variable too, aren't they? Depending on the material, it might get shipped to one state one year and another state another year. It could go, you know, it's unlikely it goes overseas anymore as it used to.
Right. Yeah.
So it's it is kind of hard to track. It would be good to track them, put a little GPS or whatever it's called.
No,
Find out where it's all going. Because we
Laura
have
Ludwig
wondered,
and I
you know,
have
we've often
spoken about
wondered
that.
where does it all go?
Yeah,
That would
Laura
be
Ludwig and I
wonderful.
spoke about that, Lydia. Probably last summer, we sat down at the bookstore in Wellfleet and we had lunch together, and we talked about like how easy would it be to put some tracking devices in to like maybe 6 or 7 PET bottles in each town. And I even spoke with some of my aquaculture marine team folks, because they have access to like different variants of trackers and how far the tracking devices actually work, at what cost, and if they're satellite.
But another thing that's so important to remember is that from the time that a plastic bottle is produced, there are a lot of health side effects, you know, things that affect those communities. They talk about environmental justice in communities where there are big plastic plants. So even, you know, from the beginning, from the time the bottle is made, there are some real problems that we have to face with it. So I'd really like to focus on the reusable and, you know, bring your own water, bring your own bottle. And that's where we have to go. That's the path.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if anybody finds any visuals with the kind of messages that we want to put in, that we could put in the flyer on the slide, please share.
Does
And
Jill
Lydia-
Talladay with the Take Care Cape Cod, has she done anything for those images with reusables?
Well, she has a nice tap one that that we put into, Chris put into a
Tax insert.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have, that's a good one to use. We could stick that in the flyer. And then there's also, oh, Lydia, I just wanted to verify that 15% is recycled. Is that all plastic, or is that water bottles, or specifically?
I think
PET?
it's all plastics.
Okay.
But it's, you know, again, it is a number that that I've heard recently. And there's another number, which is in 2050, there'll be more plastic in the ocean than fish. So that's another number that's out there.
Yeah, I have that.
I've been hearing that for at least a decade, and that hasn't changed, which is really scary.
Anything else on, oh yeah, so we were, you know, before the pandemic, we were talking about outreach to the businesses and making them aware of this so that it's not, doesn't come as a surprise to them, and talk about how to mitigate the impact on their businesses. Obviously, we haven't done any of that. But we could send something to, I guess we could send the flyer to, if we have a flyer, to the chamber to do an email blast or something.
That's a good idea. A lot of the markets are already transitioning away from plastic bottles. I've noticed it at Stop and Shop.
Really?
Yeah, like in the big bottle, in the water bottle aisle, it's a
Right.
gigantic aisle. But they, yeah, there's a lot more in aluminum and other options, all different sizes.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, there's still tons of, I mean, I see people all the time with their, you know, 20 packs of bottled water.
Oh, that's too bad. I know, it's true. We've
Yeah.
got to take a stand and start
Yeah.
changing things.
Yep. Okay, so let's see what's next. Impacts, updates on recent projects, cooperative purchasing, buying guide. So what Jill would like to do is focus on working with businesses and residents to publicize Black Earth for next season, perhaps, and residents for this season. They need about 40 signups per town in order to provide service.
Mhm.
And that's obviously going to take some recruitment and push, and we would like to help do that.
I wonder if there'd be like places where people live close together. Like obviously Provincetown would be a good place because pickup. There's some. It's densely, densely populated,
Mhm.
and other areas that might be densely populated in Wellfleet include the trailer park in South Wellfleet and possibly the one by Mayo Beach.
Right.
And Wellfleet Center. I mean, on the other hand, a lot of people do, because of the program we have at the transfer station, we can bring our own
Yeah.
compost there. But commercial-wise, it seems like that's where there's the real need.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They also accept meat and bones and fish and
Newspaper.
compostable products.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. They have a website and you can look there and see what they pick up. And then the water bottle refill stations. I can't remember if I said at the last meeting that I'd gone to the marina and talked to Will, and they said they're ready, but they're holding off because of the pandemic and not wanting to be responsible for sanitation and that kind of stuff. And so they suggested I talk to Hillary, and then I went by the Mayo Beach, and that one has a plastic bag over it. And Tia at the rec department said they're just handing out water bottles to people who need water. And so I found out from the state that they did change their policy. Initially, they were saying no water fountains and no water bottle refills. Now they're saying no water fountains, but water refill stations, yes. But I emailed Hillary and didn't hear back. So,
I wonder, one part of that, sorry to interrupt.
No,
part of that might be how to maintain them. And I know for the restrooms and things, they are going to be talking about what to do next year. Are they going to continue with the porta potties, or are they going to have a cleaning service in the brick and mortar restrooms? So maybe as part of that contract, it could be servicing the water filling stations could be part of that.
Yeah.
That's something I think we should talk to the town administrator about, because she's in charge of procurement, and I think the assistant town administrator does contracts. So I think the sooner we get the word out that we'd like the water filling stations to be part of the restroom servicing, I think that would be good.
Okay, that's a good point. I hope they get rid of all those porta potties and restrooms.
Yeah, they're kind of an eyesore. I mean, the people definitely need them, but they're.
I don't see how they're so much more sanitary than just services that get cleaned regularly, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's important if you have a family with children, because not that children go in the ocean per se, but you don't want them to just be defecating wherever they are. So.
Oh no, I was talking about just using the existing restrooms and cleaning them.
Oh, I see. Versus the porta potties. Yes. Okay. Thank you. I understand.
No, I definitely don't.
Yeah, I think I spaced a couple of sentences there.
Okay, so so water bottle refill stations, and then the one at Town Hall, that we have a volunteer on the water commissioner board of water commissioners, that's on hold too, because I haven't got responses from DPW on whether they accept a location change slight. But at some point I just got stopped trying to bug people. The next thing was producer responsibility. Anybody have anything?
I don't, not this month.
Okay. And the fall tax insert, let me just, in case you haven't seen it, show you what we have from, let's see, where is it? Okay, I did have it up. I don't know what I did with it. Because I wanted you to see. I think did we send it around, Chris?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. And I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, it was very nice.
I haven't gotten the price quote. Has anyone else heard?
Nope.
No. I think what they were going to do is see if the select board approves it first, and then if they do,
Right.
then we would get the quote from the printer.
Right. And I don't know when they're putting those on the agenda, probably after town meeting, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
So community cutlery, I'd mentioned everything's been replaced and, oh, did I mention that? Yeah, and stored at the transfer station. Yeah, so the 5 or 6 items that were destroyed, they're all up in a loft in the transfer station. And also we bought a new umbrella and Mike found a stand, so that's also stored there. So we have everything except the old table that was donated. Anybody
Great,
have?
that's wonderful. Thank you.
You have anything else, Lydia, on community cutlery?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
What type of table was it?
It was a very heavy wooden folding table. It was kind of an old-fashioned one, super, maybe 8 feet long and very, very heavy. But I don't know if we would, need such to replace that exact, with something similar. Could be something more portable, maybe.
Yeah, I might have I think a 6-foot plastic top folding table that's very light.
That we could borrow when we need one, or?
Yeah, or that you could leave there and loan out to people.
Oh, okay.
Let me just double check on that, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Always good to check with husbands first.
Yeah.
Okay. And thank you, Chris. We don't have, gosh, did I email? Yes, I did email. Energy and climate action. Which brings up something that was not on the agenda, but we did get an email from Courtney asking the recycling committees whether they recommend the climate change article, which is article 24. Oh, it does say we oh no, it doesn't have. 25, to see if the town will adopt a climate policy. And then there's a paragraph with the climate policy being proposed. The town of Wellfleet recognizes the climate emergency. So if everyone probably has their warrants now, we can either put it up and see if I guess we have to vote on it in order to put down what our official recommendation is. In the warrant, it just says 0 to 0 for recycling committee, but no one ever asked us to vote on it. So, but when they do the motion, we can say that we support it with the 5 voting members we have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. So should I pull that up to vote on?
Is it on the agenda today?
It is not on the agenda because we didn't get that email until Monday. So I don't know if we can vote on it, or I guess.
Well, I mean, I'm in support of it. I think.
I sent an email to the moderator to find out, like for the select board also, it has not come before the select board to recommend. And
this one does. They have a select board. vote in there? You mean the Article 25 or our article?
Well, or 23. So I was asking about, well, for Article 25, what can we do without having a vote because it wasn't on the agenda? And same for Article 23, can the select board recommend when the motion is made, or how that works? And maybe we can recommend when the motion is made, but we still won't have time for a meeting with an agenda item to vote on it. So with the Conservation Committee, I did talk to them in April, just when the, like they had a meeting right after the shutdown started. And they didn't vote on it, but they just had a consensus to approve it or to support it, but not a vote. So I'm not sure how we can communicate that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can vote on it, but we could
Okay.
all, I mean, there's general consensus that it's a good thing. You could
Okay.
ask, but we could also just have a vote in a few days. You know, to just have a quick meeting to actually vote on it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. I'll see what I get back about how we could phrase a like consensus to support or whatever it might be. And then I'll let you know, because that would have to be within the next week. Yeah. Okay.
Do you know? Yeah. I don't know when the deadline is for the moderator or for Courtney to have that information, but I think we just need 48 hours to post a meeting, and it could be like a 10-minute meeting.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the date is to have all the motion stuff. I think it's to the moderator. So I asked him about what we could say.
Okay.
I think I sent that email to him. I also sent an email to the chair of the water board to see, they never voted on it when I brought it before them. I think it was in January, because of their concern about being the only town that approved it. But then they said they were good with the strategy that Eastham had adopted, and were suggesting to postpone its effective date. So I just wanted to ask if we can say that they support it, or what. And let's see, do we have anything else? Oh yeah, committee member retirements and vacancies. So unfortunately, I don't know how long Lonnie has been on, but more than a decade, she thought.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, and she said she was just felt ready to put her energies elsewhere. And so we should do something as a thank you to her.
Definitely.
I mean, I guess we could sign a card, but how do we get it?
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
it could be one of those virtual cards.
Yeah.
How about
I do see her fairly often, and if somebody wanted to compose something, I do have, a collection of cards that I would, it's one option I'm putting out.
And I see her too at water aerobics in the ponds.
you could sign for us? You could sign for us, and
Yeah. Does anybody want to
Yeah.
do something? And then there's just one card or something to get to either Jaya or me.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You must keep it dry though, Chris. You must, Christine, keep the card dry.
Yes, I will. I won't bring it into the pond.
Plastic bag.
Yeah. Lydia, would you be willing to do something, since you worked with her? Well, Jaya, I don't know how long you've been on. Maybe you have worked with her.
been on for a long time too.
A long time.
Well, Jaya, I could get you one of the Wellfleet Recycles cards. You know, the one with our dandelion on it.
Yeah, I'm out
If you
of
want.
those. Actually. I had some.
How
Yeah.
about I could drop that off at I don't know, at one of your houses, Jaya or Christine, and then could write something, and how's that sound?
That's wonderful. I'd be fine.
Okay.
You could drop it off, at my front door and put it inside the screen door if no one's here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and then Jed was an alternative, so
Mhm. Yeah,
wasn't-
and he did the night, all those fix-it clinics. Remember
yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
that was
Oh,
great.
yeah,
He organized those and was the MC kind of.
Yeah, and that we would probably need to mail to him.
Mhm.
Would you be willing to do that, Lydia, and just sign for it?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, that is a good idea, yeah. I could give it to Lonnie with a few flowers too, so it looks,
Oh,
That
that
would be
sounds
very
nice.
sweet.
has more feeling to it, yeah,
Yeah.
Very nice.
yeah,
Okay.
okay.
And then of course we have a vacancy now. And
Right,
I
a
think
vacancy
I
and an
have-
alternate vacancy.
and an alternate vacancy,
Mm.
yes. So if anybody sees any fresh new energy moving into town, I do have some neighbors who just moved here into their longtime home full time. So I'll bombard them next time I see them walking.
Excellent.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have one person I can ask, we'll see.
So we have just a moment to take a look at minutes from last month. Lydia did the minutes and mailed them out. I have read them and approved them. Should I put them up real quick?
Yeah, I did read them already and I didn't see anything to
Okay.
comment on, so I thought they were fine.
Is that a motion?
Let me just
Yeah.
just put them up real quick, because I have. By the way, here's the tax insert. This is 2 on one page that Chris finalized and put together. So there'll be, it's 3 on the page, right?
No, just
Yeah.
two.
Oh, 2.
Well,
Okay.
there's 2 inserts on one page, but there's 3 images in
Okay.
each insert. And thank you so much, Chris, for doing that. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This will be
yeah,
cut in
thank
half. The page will be cut
And we
in
can
half.
use that, the drink one for a visual on our,
yeah.
right. So here's the minutes from August 4th.
Yeah.
I have read through them. I propose that we accept the minutes for August 4th that Lydia wrote up and accept them as written.
Mhm. I would second that if you need a second.
You do. All those in favor, let me stop sharing. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye, Lydia, aye.
And we don't have
Aye,
any,
aye.
audio from Jane. Are you still there, Jane? I'll call her afterwards and see if she
Yeah.
is not able. Okay, so the minutes are approved 4-0. Okay, I think that's it. Our next meeting is October 6th, and I'll send out stuff for flyers and send me your ideas. Put in everything we mentioned into the slides. And I think that's it.
All right, good job.
So
Well
we adjourn at
done, well done.
11:55. We made our
There's
deadline.
5 minutes to spare.
Hey, all right. Look,
Can I share some news real quick?
Sure.
yeah,
So, even though RDP, the recycling dividends, has not been announced yet, I did get a list of who did not qualify, and Wellfleet was not on that list, meaning Mike did a great job, and whatever he applied for, it looks like you guys were eligible. So you can look forward to that in the near future.
Wonderful.
hey, thank you.
All
So as
right.
soon as that comes out, Mike will find out, and then I'll share with the team.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Carrie. Thank you all very much for dialing in. Take care.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have a great day.
Thank you.
I
Bye-bye.
know.
Lydia,